On Business News tonight, Nigeria's central bank lifts forex restrictions on the importation of milk and dairy products in a move to reduce prices.
On sports news tonight, Team Nigeria dominates the 4x100 meters relays at the African Games as world record holder Tobi Amusho claims a hat-trick, and Chidi Okezie wins a historic gold.
From Abuja, the nation's capital, some nurses sue the Minister of Health and the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria asked the National Industrial Court to halt implementation of a new certificate verification guideline.
And in international news from London, the World Meteorological Organization says every major global climate record was...
Congress, the NLC, is demanding the resignation of the national chairman of the party, Mr. Julius Abure. Members of the union today stormed the national secretariat of the party in Abuja to protest against the leadership of the party and demand the cancellation of the proposed national convention of the party scheduled for the end of March this year. Now, the protesters, led by the acting chairman in charge of the political commission at the Congress, is accusing Mr. Abure of financial impropriety.
Members of the Nigeria Labour Congress gear up for another dispute. From the Labour House, the workers drive in a convoy to the National Secretariat of the Labour Party. They are not here to show any solidarity. Rather, they have a bone to chew with the party leadership. The premises is under lock and key. However, the undeterred workers force their way into the premises.
There have been court judgments declaring that this Labour Party belongs to NLC. There have been interventions by INEC, where an agreement was written and certain things were stipulated in clear terms what should be done to organize a convention. And Abuja was given a timeline to do all those things. As we speak, Abuja has refused to inaugurate what we call the BOT of Labour Party, which was part of an agreement initiated by INEC following a court judgment. Now, there's been let me tell you, the Political Commission has invited Abuja within the past 3 weeks, twice, and he found excuses not to come.
Beyond the contentious issue of a national convention, the protesters demand the resignation of Mr. Julius Abure as the national chairman of the Labour Party.
We are asking Abure to go. We are fed up with him. We want to know who are the people backing him. You can see, we came here, police came. What is their business? Are we thugs? We are wearing insignia of labor, organized labor. And then you now came, you stood at the gate, you are protecting him. So these are the issues.
The Labour Union is also calling for the formation of a caretaker transition committee to organize an all-inclusive national convention for the party.
Meanwhile, the chairman of Labour Party, Mr. Julius Abure, has described the demand for his resignation as a show of rascality and undermining of the law. At a media briefing of the National Executive Council of the party in Asaba, the Delta State capital, Mr. Abure berated the action of the NLC, maintaining that it is politically motivated, coming ahead of the party's national convention.
What we saw in Labour Party was a show of rascality, an abuse of office, an abuse of the law of the land. The Nigeria Labour Congress is a subject of law. Nigeria Labour Congress, under the leadership of Joe Ajero, is not above the law. And the law precludes Joe Ajero and the leadership of the NLC to do what they did today to the office of the Labour Party, where they besieged the office, broke the office, destroyed the faces of the office, destroyed the gate of the office, unlawfully took possession of the secretariat and destroyed properties worth billions of naira and properties of the party stolen away, including monies lent for salaries and several other things were stolen from the office. And I think that this is unfortunate, this is unrealistic, this is becoming unbecoming of the Nigerian Labour Congress. I The laws are very clear that you cannot picket an organization that do not have your workers. We are not the employers of Nigeria Labour Congress, and therefore they have no legitimacy to have come to picket our office. Their staff is not in our office. We have no trade union dispute with the Nigeria Labour Congress. There was no notice whatsoever issued to us that we had a trade dispute with the Nigeria Labour Congress. This is clearly an abuse of the office. It's clearly an abuse of the law. I must also say clearly that over the past few years, the Nigeria Labour Congress have been claiming to be the owners of the Labour Party. I must state clearly that the NLC, I repeat, the NLC is not the owner of the Labour Party.
Meanwhile, civil society organizations that failed to file their election observations report to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, will no longer be accredited for future polls. This warning is coming from the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who is urging civil society organizations to file their observation reports for the last off-cycle elections. Professor Yakubu said this at the quarterly consultative meeting with accredited CSOs in Abuja.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is continuing his consultative meeting ahead of the forthcoming governorship election in Edo and Ondo states. This time, the commission is meeting with members of the civil society organization who are expected to observe the forthcoming off-cycle elections in Edo and Ondo states. The INEC chairman underscores the role of the civil society groups in the success of the elections, highlighting the importance of the election reports from the group.
We appreciate the observations and recommendations contained in your election observation reports. Some of the reforms and innovations introduced by the Commission over the years draw from your observation reports. May I therefore seize this opportunity to remind those that are yet to submit their observation reports that it is mandatory to do so, being one of the conditions for eligibility to observe future elections. Going forward, the Commission will operate strictly on the policy of no observation report, no accreditation.
The INEC chairman had expressed worry over the conduct of parallel primaries by political parties going into the Edo governorship election, and members of the civil society organizations are promising to work with political parties by strengthening the observation of party primaries.
It's very important that we continue to work together as civil society organizations with the election management body, considering the need to deepen democratic practice in Nigeria. We have also taken very seriously the very important need for an inclusive democratic process driven by the kind of election that we all work together to have in this country. And of course, the fact that civil society organizations already work with political parties would also strengthen its observation of primaries, leading to the emergence of candidates in elections.
The INEC is reassuring the groups that it will continue to partner with them to ensure a free and fair election in Edo and Ondo states.
To the National Assembly, where the Senate has vowed to continue to stand with the armed forces following the killing of 17 of their personnel in Delta State last week. This was conveyed by the chairman of the Senate Joint Committee, Senator Ahmed Lawan, who also doubles as the chairman of the Senate Committee on Defense, Army, Navy, and Air Force. He was speaking after a closed-door meeting with the nation's service chiefs at the National Assembly, where they also observed a minute's silence for the slain military personnel. Also speaking, Senator Benga Daniel appealed to Nigerians to exercise patience and understanding on the matter.
And this meeting was the first. We expect that we'll also hold subsequent meetings when we'll have more and more information with respect to what has happened. But let me say this. The Senate particularly and the National Assembly stand solidly with our armed forces. We'll continue to support our armed forces. And I want to also assure Mr. President that he took the right step when he gave that direction and directive to our armed forces to fish out the perpetrators of this heinous and horrific crime. We hope that pretty soon we'll convene again for us to have more information and then report back to the Senate whatever it is that we're able to gather as a report.
What is important is that the armed forces have given a very good account of themselves. We praise their courage, their resilience, and their patience. It is incumbent to also send a very strong note of warning to all the gangsters because to face the armed forces of a nation is a major affront. We just have to continue to appeal for patience and understanding.
In the meantime, worried by the growing number of out-of-school children, the Senate has asked the Judiciary in all 36 states to establish mobile courts for the enforcement of the Universal Basic Education Act. This resolution follows a motion raised by Senator Idayat Olorunroti on the compelling need to tackle the challenge in Nigeria. Our National Assembly correspondent Gloria Umezuoke reports.
Lawmakers again converged for the last plenary session before the commencement of recess. The compelling need to tackle the critical issue of out-of-school children became a moot point for lawmakers when Senator Olorunroti Idayat sponsored the motion.
That the social impacts of having about 20 million out-of-school children on the Nigerian state will include impediment to achieving some of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, especially Goal 4.
You have a critical mass of people to recruit from for insurgency, for banditry, and so on and so forth. Until we are able to have our youth properly educated, prepared for tomorrow, both for leadership and productivity, growth and development may be eluding us.
I suggest, sir, that we urge the appropriate agency or department to publish, as I know they used to do, but this time to make it in newspapers, state by state, including FCT, the percentage of out-of-school children. So we can see the governors and the states that are more guilty of this huge negligence.
The lawmakers adopted the resolutions after the debate.
Equally urge the judiciary in the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT to take steps towards setting up mobile courts for the enforcement of the UBE Act. So I would suggest that you take a cue from what I did when I was governor of Akwa Ibom State. I signed the Child Rights Bill into law and I enshrined a provision of 6 months imprisonment for any guardian or parents that allows a child of school age to roam around the streets.
By the same token, the lawmakers gave expedited passage to the student loan bill, which had scaled second reading last week, as well as a public hearing by a joint committee. Same was applicable at the House of Representatives. A harmonized bill is expected to be sent to the president for assent. The Senate has also resolved to immortalize the name of one of its committee rooms after the late Olubadun of Ibadan land, Obaleko Balogun. The lawmakers held a minute's silence in honor of the late Olubadun, who died on Friday, March 15, 2024, at the University College Hospital, Ibadan, at the age of 81. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuoke, Channels Television News.
In part 2 after the break, the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit reportedly identifies 9 individuals and 6 Bureau de Change operators and firms allegedly involved in terrorism financing in the country. Please stay with us.
Time waits for no man, or so they said. That's why you set goals and set your minds to achieving them. Because somehow you believe that one day your time will come. So through the highs and the lows, the good days and the not so great ones, you never stop thriving, hustling, and showing up. Because you know, even if tomorrow is not guaranteed, at least you've got it today. But it's not enough to believe it. You have to believe your dreams.
Aisha.
We don't quit, guys. I'll be there.
Done.
Two files received.
I'm on my way. Take first right in 50 meters and you're there.
Copy that. Aisha, where are you?
Guess where?
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Move. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Runway X.
The future of fashion showcasing.
Very impressive. How did you pull that off?
With Nigeria's top tech talents.
And Glow.
Power your relentless ambition with ultra-high-speed data. Glow with pride.
I'm the businessman I am today because I scoured the world to find that feeling my clients want to wear. This country makes it its business to inspire at every moment.
Own your moments in South Africa. This is the holiday. Explore new holiday deals at southafrica.net. Come journey with us.
Hello, this is Premium Pension. How can we help?
Our experts work behind the scenes, enabling our members grow wealth to secure a premium tomorrow. We see your hard work and we make your money work hard for you. We are growing with you in commitment and service. Leveraging technology to meet your demands. Secure your future and pave way for the next generation. Embracing diversity with firm roots across the 36 states of Nigeria and the FCT. Premium Pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
Show off your best skin this Harmattan with Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Body Lotion. Now with 5-in-1 complete care. The deeply nourishing formula prevents your skin from drying out. With precious cocoa butter and deep moisture for smooth and healthy looking skin. Love your skin this Harmattan with Nivea Nourishing Cocoa 5-in-1 complete care.
Now, all of us like to chop better food. Food where they make body tranga and vegetables where fresh like see tomorrow not day. We want make the chocolate sweet the way we go like them. No cubes. Now be the secret. Then make them with correct ingredients like chicken, parsley, garlic, plenty iron corn full and palm to make your chocolate palm bar for you. Come the sweet well. Now be the cocoa. Make we carry salute, throw away give no. Change your world by changing waiting to your plate.
The Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit reportedly identifies 9 individuals and 6 bureau de change operators and firms allegedly involved in terrorism financing in the country. And Central Bank of Nigeria clears all valid foreign exchange transactions, fulfilling its promise to process inherited backlog of $7 billion in claims. The Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit has reportedly identified 15 entities made up of 9 individuals and 6 bureau de change operators and firms as terrorism financiers in the country. In a document published by The Punch, the NFIU explains that the Nigeria Sanctions Committee met on March the 18th this year, and specific individuals and entities were recommended for sanction following their alleged involvement in terrorism financing. Among the individuals named in the document is Kaduna-based publisher Tukur Mamu, who is currently being tried by the federal government for allegedly aiding the terrorists who attacked the Abuja-Kaduna train in March 2022. The document also reveals that one of the individuals is the suspected attacker of the St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, Ondo State, on June the 5th, 2022, and the Kuje Correctional Center, Abuja, on July the 5th, 2022. The federal government, under President Muhammadu Buhari, had said that it uncovered over 400 terrorism financiers, but did not make the list public. In other stories, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the CBN, says it has successfully completed the settlement of all valid foreign exchange transactions, fulfilling its key pledge to process the backlog of $7 billion in claims inherited by its new leadership. This was made known in a statement by the CBN's acting director in the Corporate Communications Department, Mrs. Hakama Sidi. She also explained that independent auditors from Deloitte Consulting meticulously assessed these transactions, ensuring that only legitimate claims were honored. According to her, any invalid transactions were promptly referred to the relevant authorities for further scrutiny. The clearance of the foreign exchange transactions backlog is part of the overall strategy detailed in last month's Monetary Policy Committee meeting to stabilize the exchange rate and curb imported inflation, spurring confidence in the banking system and the economy. So let's head to the nation's capital, where Gloria Umezuoke is standing by to give us the very latest from our Abuja studios. Hello, Gloria. Great to see you.
Many thanks, Ayo. We begin with legal matters. Some nurses in the country have sued the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria and the Minister of Health over the new certificate verification guidelines. The council had on February 7, 2024, issued a circular revising the guidelines for requesting verification of certificates for nurses and midwives. The nurses are urging the National Industrial Court to restrain the defendants or their agents from implementing the circular, pending the determination of the suit. Our correspondent, Emanuela Ekele, reports.
Some dissatisfied nurses and midwives are in the National Industrial Court to challenge the policy of the Nurses and Midwifery Council of Nigeria on the verification of certificates from foreign nursing boards and councils. The council had earlier stated that applicants seeking the verification exercise must possess 2 years of post-qualification experience from the date of issuance of the permanent practicing license. The new guideline took effect on March 1, 2024. The nurses are urging the court to suspend the commencement of the new guidelines, while the council and the health minister have filed preliminary objections to the suit. However, counsel to the protesting nurses and midwives wants the court to give more time for the appellant to file a reply to the objection.
We received an application from the first and second defendant, which is the Midwifery Council, in court this morning. We served with that application this morning. And then we also received other applications from the Minister of Health and the Ministry. We told the court that we want to look at those applications because we have been served with those applications in court.
That policy in itself is flawed. That is the reason why we have challenged that policy in court. And we strongly believe that we are going to get justice in the court because that law in itself is flawed. It is an infringement on fundamental human rights of our fellow professionals. And of course, it is also not only stopping nurses from seeking job employment outside the country, but those who are also seeking knowledge are also affected. And this is not right in our side.
The judge, Justice Osatohawen Obaseki Osagi, adjourned the matter to May 20 for hearing. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
Now, staying with the Judiciary, Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has again refused to stop the impeachment move against the Edo State Deputy Governor, Mr. Philip Schreiber, by the State House of Assembly. Mr. Schreiber's request for an order of status quo to be maintained by the House of Assembly and others involved in the impeachment saga was turned down by the judge today. Mr. Schreiber, through his lawyer, Professor Olawunyi Awoyale, had orally requested for an order of status quo to be maintained by parties pending the hearing and determination of his motion on notice, citing an authority to back up the application. However, Justice Omotosho held that the cited authority was not applicable in this case because the governor of Edo State and the Edo State House of Assembly, who are the principal actors in the impeachment bid, have not been served with the originating summons of the suit as required by law. The judge granted the request that the Edo State Governor and the State House of Assembly be served with the originating summons by substituted means. He also directed that all court papers be served on parties in the matters with the use of a registered courier company. Justice Omotosho subsequently fixed April 15 for hearing of the case. Mr. Shuaibu, who was in the courtroom throughout proceedings, declined to speak with newsmen. Meanwhile, Justice Omotosho has also dismissed a suit instituted against the federal government seeking the prohibition of the conduct of elections and its examinations on Saturdays in Nigeria. The suit instituted by the Seventh-day Adventist Church of Nigeria was thrown out by the judge on the grounds of being frivolous and baseless. The church had claimed that Saturday is its Sabbath day of worship and that the fundamental rights of its members are being breached by the conduct of elections and examinations on Saturdays. Justice Omotosho held that the fundamental rights being claimed by the church were not at large and can be curtailed by government policy. He added that the church cannot impose its doctrine on the majority of other religious denominations in the country. The counsel for the plaintiff says the church will appeal the judgment. Away from the judiciary, the administration of President Bola Tinubu is committed to tackling the challenge of skills deficit in the country. That's according to the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, while inaugurating the reconstituted National Council on Skills at the Presidential Villa. He says the president is poised to support stakeholders within the skills ecosystem.
The National Council on Skills has emerged as a pivotal force in providing policy direction, plans and strategies to enhance the efficiency of Nigeria's skills ecosystem. This council has set out to guide our understanding of the needs of our people and the opportunities they seek to earn a dignified living and compete on a global scale. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the decision to reconstitute the Council underscores our acknowledgement of the vast challenges we inherited. By welcoming aboard two esteemed new members, namely the Senior Special Assistant to Mr. President on Technical, Vocational, and Entrepreneurship Education, and the Chair of the Committee of Sector Skills Council in Nigeria, we reaffirm our commitment to addressing these challenges head-on. His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has pledged support to all stakeholders within the Nigerian skills ecosystem. Central to this commitment is the recognition of the informal sector's substantial contribution to our nation's GDP. However, the sector is plagued by a lack of standardization, regulation, and coordination, which has hindered its full potential.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's central bank lifts forest restrictions on the importation of dairy products in the country in a move aimed at price cut. That's on Business News. You'll join us again.
Brother Jumbo, why you dey fumble? This sister Carol, she don't change her bottle. Suffer to send money, Careful, make you dial the number 894. Make you know the ways 894. No need to decide for line 894. It is safe and secure 894 for me, 894 for you, 894. There's a number that could change your whole world. 894. If you know the data, 894. Just pick your phone and dial the number 894 for me, 894 for you, 894 for Niger.
Dial star 894 hash to get started. Powered by First Bank.
Black, it's not dark, it's bright. Black is
bold. Black is every color, all together. My thing, your thing, our thing mixed together. Black shines brighter.
Do you know that you can now print all your essential items for events without even having to leave your home? It's the Cash Prints Combo Deal for all events.
Yes!
Weddings, conferences, birthdays, burials, etc. Starting from 495,000 naira only. You get 50 invites, 50 A2 size posters, 50 16-page brochures, 1 large backdrop banner, 1 roll-up banner, 50 jotters with pens, and 50 souvenir carrier bags. Whatever event you're planning, we can adjust to your budget and quantities. Just send your pictures and other information through WhatsApp, and we shall send a design for your approval. Approve your design, and we will produce with super high-quality digital print technology. We can even arrange delivery to your location. Call us now on 0913-156-5016 or 0812-794-9323 or visit our social media pages. Cash Prints, digital printing at super speed.
The Duchess International Hospital caters to every aspect of a family's health needs. A one-stop shop for maternity and child health services, emergency medicine and critical care, medical and surgical subspecialties, dental and eye care, and a range of other subspecialties and services, all available at a single location right here in the heart of Ikeja. And it really doesn't matter if you're paying out of pocket using your HMO or private insurance. We focus completely on providing that world-class affordable healthcare for all the family at all times.
For an exclusive 3-time skin effect, try Nivea Men Deep powered by Black Carbon. For 48-hour deep moisture, a fresh skin feel, and a long-lasting masculine fragrance. Make an impact with Nivea Men Deep Impact Body Lotion. Try Nivea Men Deep Roll On for 72-hour antibacterial sweat protection.
You're up to speed on the killing of the 17 military personnel in Okwama community of Delta State, where the president says the Nigerian soldiers who were slain in that community, of course, in Delta last week, are indeed heroes and will be granted national honors. Our President Bola Tinubu was speaking to the leadership of the House of Representatives after the breaking of fast at the State House. The president encouraged the lawmakers to show that the sacrifices of the uniformed personnel are appreciated.
The baby step being taken by our country is going well. The sacrifices we have made, and we ask the people to continue to make, assuring them that there is a very bright light at the end of the tunnel. All you have to do is have faith. Please don't forget your constituencies. Remember what they are going through. We salute all our men and women in uniform, and we sympathize with them. I also make further pronouncements. They must have befitting burial, and they will have national honor.
It was a Black Wednesday for some traders and businessmen and women in the Dosumu area of Idumota Market in Lagos Island as their shops were gutted by fire earlier today. Despite the efforts of the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service to put out the inferno, it was gathered that goods worth millions of naira were destroyed by the fire, which was said to have started around 8 a.m. and was seen burning as at 3 p.m. The fire affected 3 buildings, including 2 two-story structures and 1 3-story building in the market, popularly known for the sale of clothes, bags and shoes. No casualties were recorded, but the cause of fire is yet to be ascertained. Today, dignitaries from across the globe gathered to mark Madonna University's Silver Jubilee alongside the centenary celebration of the International Federation of Catholic Universities. The historic event took place at the institution's main campus in Elele, River State. Our correspondent Deborah Agbalama reports.
It's indeed a grand affair as Madonna University and the International Federation of Catholic Universities, IFCU, brings to a close a week of festivities with glitz and glamour. The celebration commences with a special mass officiated by Cardinal Peter Okbaleke, expressing gratitude to God for the remarkable journey.
Madonna University has remained a pride of the church in our time. To God be the glory. We thank God for his benevolence. We also appreciate the sacrifices of the founder of the university, his close collaborators, too many to mention, the school board, parents, staff, students, and alumni, and indeed all the benefactors and benefactresses of this university.
Next, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, lauds the university's contribution to education and commends its founder for his vision.
The founder of Madonna University and the driving force behind the establishment of Osisatec Polytechnics, College of Education, and Caritas University. Very Reverend Father Ede's multi-decades-long commitment to education, commitment to service, and spiritual enlightenment has left an indelible mark on the landscape of higher learning in Nigeria and beyond.
In his address, the founder of the school, Father Emmanuel Ede, shares the story of the journey so far.
To Madonna University, LL, Nigeria, and to participate in the International Federation of Catholic Universities International Conference being hosted by Madonna University, Nigeria from 17th to 19th March 2024.
The highlight of the occasion is the presentation of awards to esteemed individuals like the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives Benjamin Kalu, and others who have contributed to the growth of Madonna University.
Government should support private universities. The children are in these schools are our children. They're not for others' children. And that's what I did. Every university that was in Anambra State, while I served as governor, I partnered with them, supported them, because these young people are our own.
The joint celebration brings together dignitaries from around the world, including the Deputy Governor of River State, Professor Ngozi Odu, who joined in commemorating this momentous occasion. Deborah Balama, Channels Television News.
The first Nigerian chemistry graduate and first Minister of Education in Western Nigeria, the late Professor Stephen Oluwole Awokoya, has been described as the unsung educationist in Nigeria and a leading light of his generation. This honor and tribute to his memory came at the 26th Annual Lecture Awards Ceremony and Postgraduate Scholarships presentation by the Stephen Oluwole Awokoya Foundation for Science Education in Lagos.
It's the 26th Annual Lecture, Award Ceremony and Postgraduate Scholarships Presentation by the Stephen Oluwole Awokoya Foundation for Science Education. The foundation, a charitable organization committed to promoting science education in Nigerian higher institutions, is honoring the legacy of the late Professor Stephen Oluwole Awokoya, the first Nigerian graduate in chemistry and a trailblazer in education. A warm welcome address by the chairman of the Board of Trustees highlights Professor Awokoya's pioneering work as the founding principal of Molusi College, Ijebu-Igbo, in Ogun State.
Without a man of his caliber as the first principal of Molusi College would have been a stillborn baby or would have been murdered in its infancy, and the whole world at large would not have known what has been lost.
Guests also hear from the chairman of AECO PLC, Dr. Oladele Fajemirokun, who reflects on Professor Awokoya's enduring impact as a visionary educator.
6 decades after Awokoya served as First Minister of Education of Western Region in 1952, the experimental character of the indigenous educational scheme he introduced continues to resonate. Since then, others who followed in his footsteps have vested Africans' hopes for economic development goals in the provision of mass public education.
And then the recipients of the prestigious Stephen Oluwole Awokoya Foundation for Science Education Postgraduate Scholarships for the year 2024 are announced.
Of the Stephen Oluwole Awokoya Foundation for Science Education.
The keynote speaker for the lecture and Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos delivers a thought-provoking address on providing fit-for-purpose education for national development.
A degree will no longer be enough to guarantee employment. Universities will now have to be more flexible and provide avenues to develop in-demand skills for students to flourish. And AI will continue to have more impact. By 2050, it is estimated that automation will displace 400 to 800 million jobs. And we don't even know which jobs are coming. So clearly, education cannot be producing for a job that he does not even know the specifications. So what we need to be doing is training minds that will deal with whatever they find in the future.
In recognition of their outstanding contributions to science education, 3 individuals are honored with the year 2024 Partner in Science Education Award. This event serves as a testament to the legacy of Professor Stephen Oluwole Awokoya and the Foundation's commitment to promoting science education in Nigeria. Founded in March 1995 and coinciding with the 10th anniversary of Professor Awokoya's passing, the Foundation continues to commemorate his invaluable contributions to education and science.
Time now for some business news with Melinda Akilami.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Many thanks, Ayotunde. Welcome to Business News. The Central Bank of Nigeria has lifted its foreign exchange restrictions on the importation of milk and other dairy products in efforts to push down the prices. This is contained in a circular released by the financial market regulator and sent to all banks in the country. For now, importers can access Forex at the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market for transactions related to these products, which is expected to have a positive impact on the industry. In October last year, the CBN announced the lifting of the ban placed on 43 items previously restricted from accessing Forex. Building strategic partnerships between chief executive officers and chief financial officers is a model which businesses should adopt. This is one of the survival strategies shared at the first Lagos Business School CEO Leadership Summit, which took place in Lagos. The director of the program, Mr. Patrick Akinwuto, has encouraged business owners to be intentional about growth and sustenance.
The first thing for small businesses is you need the right skill to ensure that your business is first able to survive and then able to compete and grow. The CEO is the flagship leader. We know that. But the CEO requires knowledgeable team members at the C-suite level, at the leadership level. The CFO has unique skills, but the CFO increasingly is there to share in the visioning, the strategizing for a small business. What is the path to becoming a bigger, sustainable business? What is the route to having the right capital? Decision on markets, decision on where to play, how to play, and how to win. And that is where the CEO and the CFO need to be strategic partners.
Some company news now. Listed here, one financial institution, Access Holdings PLC, says it plans to acquire the National Bank of Kenya from the country's second largest lender, KCB Group. Commenting on the transaction, the acting group chief executive officer of Access Holdings PLC, Ms. Bolaji Agbede, says this proposed acquisition marks a significant step in the execution of the company's 5-year strategic plan aimed at positioning the bank as Africa's gateway to the world. The domestic stock market continues on a downward trend for the third consecutive session this week. Willie Bong has all those details.
Welcome to the Stock Market Report. What can I say? The market is giving red vibes this week, and I wouldn't say I brought on the red because I did try to stay away from the color red. Precisely, I was shade of red, but that didn't help the market because the market moves on sentiment. See the all-share index dropping further today by 0.28%. Well, speaking of sentiment, it's still positive in terms of market breadth, and we've seen 28 stocks gained today against 22 losers, where FBN Holdings took a dipper today, losing 4 naira 35 kobo off its share price to close at 39 naira 60 kobo. This dip weighed on the banking counter. We see it dropping nearly 1.8% today. We did also mention that GTCO Zenith Bank contributed to this loss. Now, the insurance counter, on the other hand, was the outlier in terms of the sectors, up 2.09%, while flour mills boosted the consumer goods counter. Taking a look at the activity, that's very important in terms of gauging the money flow in the market. It's all red, shows when compared to Tuesday, reflecting more sell than buy interest in the market. Well, it's still midweek session. No hope lost yet for the market. Investors are still probably scampering to the fixed income markets, where the appeal of higher yields appear to call. We'll be back tomorrow with the latest, especially keeping track of Zenith Bank, and if investors will begin to react positively following the new leadership announcements. And that's the Stock Market Report for today. Will Iban signing out.
Many thanks, Will. Let's hope we have some green vibes tomorrow. Now to take a look at the snapshots of the closing numbers from some major global markets around the world. That's Business News. Is back to you, Ayotunde.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Belinda. Here's Sami Puzi with our international news and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The World Meteorological Organization says every major global climate record was broken last year, and 2024 could be even worse. The UN Weather Agency's chief voiced particular concern about ocean heat and shrinking sea ice. In its annual State of the Global Climate Report, it said average temperatures hit the highest level in 174 years of record keeping by a clear margin, reaching 1.45 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels.
The year 2023 set new records for every single climate indicator. This annual report shows that the climate crisis is the defining challenge that humanity faces. It is closely intertwined with inequality crisis, as witnessed by growing food insecurity, population displacement, and biodiversity loss.
Western leaders, the UN and rights groups have joined a chorus of criticism of Hong Kong's new security law, saying it further erodes freedoms. Article 23, as it's known locally, was unanimously passed by the city's pro-Beijing parliament, targeting a range of offences deemed treasonous. Officials say the law is essential for stability, but opponents called it a nail in the city's coffin. China has long pushed for the law, which allows for closed-door trials, gives the police rights to detain suspects for up to 16 days without charge, and penalties including life sentences, among other things.
I think that very clear the state of freedom is being curtailed. The law is very much patterned after Chinese laws that you see on the mainland. China, Beijing, expects Hong Kong, under the Basic Law of 1997, to enact a full law dealing with national security. And that's what exactly this is. And the Article 23 is referring exactly to the Article 23 of the Basic Law of 1997 that basically requires the Hong Kong government to do this thing after Hong Kong was transitioned to the People's Republic of China.
A federal appeals court has frozen Texas's controversial immigration law, one of the toughest laws of its kind enacted by a U.S. state in modern times. The decision came just hours after the Supreme Court allowed the measure, SB 4, to take effect pending an appeal. The legislation would allow officials in Texas to detain and prosecute unauthorized migrants. Mexico, which borders Texas, has said it will refuse to accept any migrants deported by its authorities. Senegal's President Macky Sall has refused to apologize to the people of his country for the deaths and political uncertainty that followed the decision to postpone elections last month. In an interview, the outgoing president confirmed that he will be leaving the presidential office on the 2nd of April regardless of the election result. Senegalese voters are due to go to the polls on Sunday to elect a new head of state. 7 sailors have died after a South Korean flagged tanker overturned off the west coast of Japan. Rescuers found 2 other crew members. One of them is conscious, while the other is in an unknown condition. The Kyu Young Sun capsized off Yamaguchi Prefecture after the crew radioed for help. The search is still ongoing for another 2 sailors who are on board. The ship was reportedly at anchor because of stormy weather. No details of its cargo were immediately available. Delhi was the most polluted capital city in the world in 2023, a Swiss-based air quality monitoring group has found. India, of which Delhi is the capital, was also ranked as the world's 3rd most polluted country after neighbours Bangladesh and Pakistan. The country's air has worsened since 2022, when it was the 8th most polluted country. Air pollution is a serious problem in several Indian cities. And cleanup crews have continued to work across rural Indiana and Ohio after at least 1 tornado ripped through the area, killing 3 people and injuring dozens more. Homes and businesses were flattened by strong winds at about 7:45 in the evening. The twister was one of 7 tornadoes in Indiana and Ohio reported to the National Weather Service. An additional tornado was reported in northern Texas, and a twister may have also caused damage in a northern Kentucky town. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Many thanks indeed, Simon. Sports news now. It was a complete sweep for Team Nigeria at the African Games in the 4x100 meters relays as Toby Amusho anchored the women's team to gold in a time of 43.06 seconds. She combined with Justina Olajide and Fore for the medal. Meanwhile, Liberia ran 44.03 seconds for silver, while host nation Ghana got the bronze in 44.21 seconds. In the men's event, the quartet of Sunday Okon, Consider Kanem, Alaba Ketola, and Sekiri claimed the gold in a time of 38.41 seconds. The defeated Ghana will settle for silver in 38.43 seconds, while Liberia finished third in 38.76 seconds. And earlier in the 100 meters hurdles, world record holder Musho completed a hat trick on the continent, clocking a time of 12.89 seconds to win gold in Ghana. She got a yellow card for beating the gun before flying to an easy win. The 26-year-old won gold in 2015 in Congo-Brazzaville Games and Rabat, Morocco at the 2019 Games. And it was a historic moment for Chidi Okezie in the men's 400 meters final as he became the first Nigerian to win gold in the event at the Games since Innocent Egunike in 1987. And having won 4 bronze medals at the continental stage dating back to Durban in 2016 at the Games, Okezie ran a personal best of 45.06 seconds to claim the elusive medal. His winning time is the fastest at the Games since Isaac Makwala's 44.35 seconds at the Brazzaville Games in 2015. And meanwhile, Team Nigeria maintained the second spot on the medals table, as you can see here, with a total of 95 golds and 23 silver and 32 bronze. Egypt topped the table with 167 medals, including 92 gold, 41 silver and 34 bronze medals. South Africa in third, and of course, Algeria and Tunisia occupy the final spots. That's a wrap on sports. It's back to Ayotunde.
Many thanks, Kelly. And the main news again. The crisis rocking the Labour Party today took a new
Hello and welcome to another edition of Kaleidoscope on Channels Television. I'm Anne Nwawadu. On the program today, we sit with the founder and president of Verisco Foods Limited, Eric Umofia, to discuss the success story of the indigenous manufacturing company and its contributions to the society through several corporate social responsibility initiatives it has carried out over the years. Once again, welcome to Kaleidoscope. Let's tell you about Verisco Foods Limited, a manufacturing company that began operations over 4 decades ago. Verisco Foods Limited is an indigenous manufacturing company which is a subsidiary of Verisco Bunpet Group that was formed 40 years ago. The subsidiary was registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission on February the 24th, 2004 as Verisco Foods Processing Limited and started manufacturing operations in 2010, producing various food items, including brands of tomato paste in sachet form and tins, with an installed production capacity of 450,000 metric tons per annum, making it one of the largest producers of tomato paste in Nigeria and Africa, with a staff strength of over 2,000. Verisco Foods Limited has added to its innovative products as the first company in Nigeria to produce fresh tomato as sauce in a tin. Known for its high-quality food products, the company signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Defense Research and Development Bureau on December 4, 2018, with joint production and supply of meals ready to eat to the armed forces of Nigeria. Eriska Foods Limited has received numerous awards from various organizations in Nigeria, as well as recognition for being able to give back to society. The market zones and warehouses for its products are all over the country and are helping to meet up with market demand, which has continued to grow over the years. The company's distribution channels involve the use of major distributors who resell to wholesalers and then to retailers. Eriska Foods Limited is determined to make a difference in the manufacturing sector, promoting indigenous production and made in Nigeria goods, thereby adding value to the country's economy.